show me a hand, I know that you're with me. Yes, that is there. Exactly. So all of us are already doing storytelling, as I said. So I am not going to teach you the ABCs of storytelling, but take forward from our practice. Guruji has said many different types of communication take place. You have the head-to-head communication, yeah, and you also have the heart-to-heart communication. Guruji often uses stories to connect with us, to convey very deep spiritual messages, and to connect at a heart level. So we as teachers are doing heart-to-heart connection, which is really special. So the whole storytelling process, if we make it a bit special, bit sacred, it brings up the same feeling of sacredness in our listeners and participants too. What I normally do is to make it a bit special. I also ring the bell because the bell, as you know, your senses become alive and you tune in. So just ring the light bell so my class knows it is time for the storytelling session. Very silently, I place the bell and I light a lamp just to bring it a little bit special and sacred, as you can see. Now, in class, you cannot light a lamp. At home, you can. In class, maybe you can use some other special signal, a visual reminder that we are entering into something very special for the children. Here, I'm just going to light the lamp to create that mood. Safety comes first, and I'm just keeping it next to Guruji's picture here. And when we are ready to tell the story, we are very relaxed ourselves. We come into that space. And now let the session begin. So, all of us have been telling stories for many years. I don't believe there's a single teacher in the group who hasn't been telling stories to the children in their class. My intention, as I said, is to give you some tools to enrich your session so that along with storytelling, not only are you entertaining your students, making that heart to heart connection, but you're also meeting some literacy objectives. So we know what our four areas are. We have speaking, listening, reading, and writing. How can I enrich these four through the tool of storytelling? That is my intention today. Okay. So having said that, let us move on. Just keeping a close look at time. Today I'll be using a story to show how we can use stories in our English language classes. Okay. This story is a Panchatantra story which you've all heard. Monkey and the Crocodile. Hands up if you've not heard the story. I don't believe anybody would have not heard the story. There you go. I can't see a single hand up. That means I've picked the right story. Oh, I just lost you. Need to come up. Yeah. So, yes. So everybody has heard the monkey and the crocodile story. Yes, there's nobody who's not heard. Excellent. So this is going to be my story, which I'm using as a context. So I'm not even going to tell you the story because you know the story. My purpose is how we can use the story to connect with our learners and take them few steps forward in their literary journey as part of our LIT Fest. Just a quick recap of the story. We know we have the good monkey, the jumpy, bubbly monkey, who's really friendly with the crocodile, who enjoys eating, and you can make up any choice. Kids are not going to judge you. He could be eating jamun on the jamun tree. He could be eating apples. You pick what you want to make the monkey to eat. As long as you have personal connection, it's fine. That is the story, right? And he trusts the crocodile and he feeds the crocodiles. In my story, I use apples. He feeds this crocodile juicy, juicy apples every day. They form a friendship. Yeah. Then what happens? One day, the crocodile takes the juicy apple to his wife, and the wife eats the lovely juicy apple. And who would like to continue the story for me from there? Anybody brave enough to come up in front of 100 participants? You just have to share 2-3 lines, not more. Anybody is there? I can't see any hand go up. Maybe if you want to tell, you can unmute yourself.
Viraj is raising his hand.
Yeah, Viraj can tell. So we've come to the point where the wife has had a lovely, delicious apple. Then Viraj, you can tell us what happens from there.
ma'am, and then the wife thinks that uh, how the juicy apple is so sweet, then how much the juicy then the juicy apple, how much sweet will be the monkey's heart. So he told the crocodile to bring it to his house and make it night for the dinner.
Beautiful, Viraj. Thank you for sharing. You have brought us to a very exciting point in the story. So I'm going to just stop there. That was just a orientation for the story. Viraj, that was really fantastic. You told very nicely. Just confirming with the organizers, is the session for teachers or teachers and students? Who am I addressing here? Can someone clarify?
Teachers. Basically,
Okay,
it
okay,
is for
fine.
teachers.
Okay, Viraj has been an excellent teacher, modeling fantastic skills, so he qualifies to be here, no doubt about it. Okay, so the starting is before we tell the story, it should be a story that you're really comfortable with. It relates to you, it speaks to your heart because it's a heart to heart communication. Remember that, right? You read the story before few times, let it ingest the story, let it become a part of you. Breathe in the story. Tell your story. When you're having shower, tell the story. When you're walking, you can tell the story. Okay. So tell the story before you tell the children. Prepare the story. Then it will flow through us even better. Little bit of preparation. Okay. Then once we have ingested the story, and now we are ready to share with our learners, this storytelling I have used over weeks. So don't think you need to have many stories to build literacy skills in the class. You just need a handful, actually. One storytelling session in early years can be used up to 3 weeks to build literature skills in your students. In upper primary, maybe up to 1 to 2 weeks. So you're going to be working with one story, and I'm going to share with you my lesson plan very shortly. All right. And we'll see how that can be done. I'm going to go back to my share screen and my presentation. Let us see. We've gone through the first part. Prepare, prepare your story. I've told you that. Feel free to use simple props, felt boards, whatever you have at home. Children don't need much. Use that to tell your story. But the key thing is that we are using 3 strategies when we're telling the story. Something visual to engage the learners. That's why I'm saying bring in the props or make a drawing, right? Something to engage the listener visually. Then you're using your voice, that is auditory, and K, kinesthetic. Have a few action rhymes or movements before or during the song to engage the whole body of the listener. So 3 strategies are V, A, K. Something for visual, something for auditory, that is going to be our voice. Even my bell that I used for tuning in to draw the senses. K, kinesthetic, to move. Okay. Use traditional tales, tales from your state where you've come. You have such rich collection of states. In Bengal, you'll have your own tales. In Karnataka, you have your tales. In Tamil Nadu or in Gujarat, you have your own tales. Use your traditional tales. You can tell in your native language. There's no harm. We can use that as a base because most of us are teaching bilingual learners. Use that as a base to connect and then move forward from there. Do not over dramatize. This is the key point I want to make. Sometimes we think we have to do all the drama and show of hands and this and that. You're going to be telling the story many times. Children love repetition. Parents are here, and you know your children keep asking you to tell you the same story again and again and again. So you are going to be repeating the story, and you can add little elements here and there every successive time. First time you tell the story, do not over dramatize. Let the magic of the story sink into the soul of your child. That happens when you use a voice like Guruji's voice. He's speaking to us very sweetly, very calmly, and when he tells us the story sinks into our consciousness, and the message of the story sinks into our consciousness. That becomes our moral compass when we are dealing with difficult decisions. Okay. You can work with the same story for 1 to 3 weeks, which is what I'm going to show you. All you have to do when you're telling the story is be yourself. Inject some warmth and life to the story. Your voice and presence are the main tools that you'll be starting with. So you don't need anything, just a story that you enjoy, which you're going to tell. Okay, so I'm going to stop the share now, and all of us are there. So because we're doing Monkey and the Crocodile story, I'm going to share with you some songs and rhymes which you already know, which you can use with your class. And I'll take a few songs first for junior primary, pre-prep, all that, and then one song that we can all do for older children too. I have told the story even to middle school students. You know, it's all about friendships, how we trust somebody, they let us down, how we have to use.
ঢুকতে বলেছে আমার তো জুমে আমার আর্ট ইন্টিগ্রেশন স্টোরি টেলিং তুই ঠিক আছে আমি উইদাউট ভিডিও বসেছি আমার কাজ আমি করে যাচ্ছি
Can we mute? Can we mute?
Thank you. How we are going to be using Yukti to get out of the situation. So it can be used even in middle school years. You know, this is a very valuable story. So first is, can you tell me, think of a song which has a monkey in it that you can sing to your children. You can chat and we can sing that song, all of us. Any song that has monkey, come on, I know that you know. It can be a song in your traditional language. It can be a song in English. I know that all of you know at least one monkey song. Type away so that I can see in the chat.
Poor little monkey jumping on the
Excellent.
off and
Yes.
broke
Can you
it.
please, can you please spotlight the person who's singing so that we can join them?
Mama
Who is
called the
singing?
doctor said, 3 more monkey jumping on the bed. 2 little monkeys.
Excellent. That's the song I had. Can we all do that? Because then we are getting into it. You can, you're muted anyway. I'm going to mute myself so that I can let the lovely teacher who's singing. Continue, whoever singing.
Jumping on the bed. 1 fell off and broke his head. Mama called the doctor. Doctor said, 2 more monkey jumping on the bed. 2 little monkey jumping on the bed. 1 fell off and broke his head. Mama called the doctor. The doctor said, no, 1 monkey jumping on the bed.
Thank you very much. That's one song. So we've introduced our reader to the monkey. Then who can think of a song which has crocodile in it? Okay, we have to introduce the crocodile character through a song. So I will start because I can't see any hands. So you know, you can sing with me. The first part is, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is just a dream. So monkey is in this happy world eating his almonds and apples. Happy dream. Then what's the next part of the song? Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. If you see a crocodile, don't forget to scream. And the whole class goes, ah! So now we have introduced the monkey and the crocodile, right? And the story will begin. Now, what about people who are in 3, 4, 5, year 3, 4, 5? What can you do? Your children are not going to listen to monkey, row your boat and all those songs. So to engage them, you need another song, which I am going to play right now. And hopefully, you can all dance with me for the song. Few minute songs I'm going to play. So you have to get up and dance for the song. I'm going to get up. Every get up.
Now I beg to see you dance just one more time. Ooh, I see you every time. And on my eyes, I close down. Ooh, you make me wanna try. And now I beg to see you dance just one more time. So say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh. Never seen anybody do the things you do before. Say, move for me, move for me, move for me, hey, hey. And when you're done, Take my hands, my feet, and look me in my eyes. Just like a monkey, I've been dancing all night. Are you just there to see me dance one more time? Ooh, I see you every time. And do my I like your style. Ooh, you make me wanna try. And now I'm ready to see you dance just one more time. Say, dance for me, dance for me, dance for me, oh. I've never seen anybody do the things you do before. Say, move for me, move for me, move for me, yeah. And when you're done, I'm going to do it again. Say, dance.
Okay. Now what has happened? Whole body is listening. Woken up. I have to catch my breath. So now we tell the story. And the first time we tell the story, we have done the visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. Good idea would be to draw the story before. I haven't done, but you can draw the story before and keep it ready when you're telling the children, especially when you're doing digital. So now I'm going to take you through some parts of the story. While I'm telling this part of the story, I want you to take your A4 sheet of paper and make the vision that is coming. You are going to do the artwork with me. Ready for it? Okay. So, Mrs. Crocodile told Mr. Crocodile, if you love me, you will get me, the monkey's heart. If he's been eating juicy red apples, guess how juicy his heart would be. I want to eat that monkey for lunch. Crocodile said, no. We don't eat our friends. He's my buddy. He's the person I am with. Mrs. Monkey said, Mrs. Crocodile said, if you don't get me the monkey for lunch, I'm not going to talk to you.
Sangeeta teacher, if you can mute yourself. Sangeeta Shenoy teacher, please mute yourself.
Mr. Crocodile was feeling really sad. On one hand, he had Mrs. Crocodile, who was not talking to him. On one hand, he loved his monkey friend. He didn't want to lose a friend. Should he listen to his wife or should he be with his friend? Poor man, he was so confused. Sometimes when you're confused, you don't make good decisions. Next day, he woke up and he said, oh, well, I have to live with my wife. Might as well go and get the monkey for lunch. So he swam to the other side of the bank. And there, as usual, the monkey was there happily, saying, Yoo-hoo, Mr. Crocodile, I was waiting for you. How are you? Mr. Crocodile said, hey, monkey, you've been feeding me red apples, juicy apples every day. My wife wants to have you for lunch so that we can feed you. Mr. Monkey got really excited, but he said, I don't know how to swim. How will I come to your house? And then Mr. Crocodile said, don't worry, my buddy. Jump onto my back. I'll take you there and bring you back. Mr. Monkey said, yes. He climbed up the tree, plucked a few more apples for Mrs. Crocodile, held them closely on his hand, and hopped on to Mr. Crocodile. Mr. Crocodile started swimming. Then he came to the middle of the ocean. He couldn't stop himself. He felt really guilty and he said, Mr. Monkey, I have to tell you the truth. My wife's not making lunch for you. She plans to have you for lunch. Mr. Monkey got really scared. How dare could Mr. Crocodile do to him? He trusted him. And now he was going to feed the monkey to the crocodile. Monkey got really nervous. Then he decided, I need to come up with a plan. What should I do? I'm going to stop right now. I asked you to make a picture of whatever vision came up to you when I was narrating the story. If you can share for me, that will be great. Can I see your pictures and images, please? Just hold it up to the screen for me so that I know what you've been doing. You've just created a visual image of the story while I'm narrating it. Can you show me, please? I can't see your pictures as yet. Can anybody show me the pictures? Has anybody been drawing? No? Yeah, I can see Namita from SSRVM. Can you show us your picture? Can you please spotlight Namita? Can you please spotlight Namita? Can't spotlight her?
Done, ma'am. Spotlighted her.
I can't see her. Can everybody see her? You can.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Mom, I can see. Ma'am, I can
only-
see.
Oh, view, great. Only I'm not able to see. I don't know why. Okay. All right. She's been pinned. So what have you drawn, Namita? For those like me who can't see you fully, can you just show us?
Yes. Only visuals was coming in my mind when you were narrating the story. Like what happened. I'm not good at drawing at all. But then only the visual which was coming in my mind so that I tried to.
Okay. Thank you for sharing, Namita ji. That's really nice of you. So basically, if you do this in a pentagon, right? If you do this, you know what a pentagon or a hexagon looks like? It's got 6 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you make like this pentagon and give to your children while you're telling the story, if they make a picture here, you can make a picture quilt and put it up on your display, right? All that means the same story is being perceived by different people in different way, right? And it can make a beautiful class display, a picture quilt. So, you know, you keep on putting the pentagons one against each other. Each child is given a pentagon. They make the picture while you're narrating the story, and it becomes a picture quilt. All right. So that's one strategy I'm leaving you with today. Then, what are some of the other things you can do when the story is happening? Let us see. At this point, I'm going to show you my lesson plan, which runs for 3 weeks with the same story. And I'll show you a few different things we can do before we finish. Okay, I'm going to share. Just give me a second. I'm going to share. Share screen. Okay. All right. So this is my lesson plan, week 1. Tell them the story. Use songs. We've done the warm up. You can use the props if you have any, felt boards, anything. Just initiate them to the story. That's all you do on day 1. Day 2, if you're seeing them again, tell them the story of the monkey and the crocodile. This time, make your own picture book. Start by making a book cover. Everybody gets to make a book cover for this book, right? Give them a nice A4 sheet. They can use the colors and make a book cover. Next day, tell them the story again. You're still telling them the story, but on the 3rd day, you make a back cover and write a blurb. What's a blurb? Blurb is a synopsis of the story, but you're not giving the end away. Blurb could be something like, monkey and crocodiles as friends? That's a strange combination. Here's a story of friendship and betrayal. Let's read on to find out what happens next. That's an example of blurb. So you can write that blurb. Blurb works well with upper primary, middle school, all that. They're pretty good in writing blurbs. You can make that. Thursday, that's the 4th day, when you see your children, you can tell them the same story, and this time you make a story map. And I'll show you what a story map is. We'll make it together right now. That's something you can do. Friday, still with the same story. And this time, they can take turns to retell the story doing the 5-finger retell. Okay. So I need to stop sharing the screen. Can you see my screen? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Great,
yes, ma'am.
Great. Okay, I'm sorry. I cannot see you. I think I have lost you. 1 second. Where am I? Okay, I need to stop sharing my screen. Where is the stop sharing button? Okay. You can see my screen. Can admin help me stop sharing? I don't see the stop sharing button. I'm not sure how to come back to the Zoom call, because I think you can still see me.
Ma'am,
Okay.
if you can take the cursor to the panel and
Yeah.
if you see the red color stop share, maybe below or above.
Yeah. Stop share. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I got that. Now I just need to come back to the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
I can't see.
Yeah, I think I've lost you as well. Okay. Excuse me. I cannot see you. I just need to find a way of coming back to you. Sorry about this.
Ma'am, you can log out and
Okay,
log in.
got it. Yeah.
Ma'am, you can log out and log in.
Yeah, no, I don't want to log out and log in. I just want to come in, but I don't know how to see you all. I've just lost you. Sorry about this. You can see me, but I can't see you. That's the case, isn't it? You all can see me, isn't it?
No, ma'am.
You can't see me either.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You can see me?
Yes,
No,
we
ma'am.
see you, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry about the technical glitch. I'm having a little bit trouble here.
Ma'am, your screen is still saved. That week one.
1 second. I'll just sort it out. 1 second.
Sorry about that. I didn't hear.
It's gone. So that's the meeting. I don't know how to get it. Here. The meeting is there, but I can't get it. Maybe just. No, that's sharing of the screen. I don't want to share the screen.
Ma'am, can you see the screen share button, stop share button?
Yeah.
Ma'am, can you please click on it?
Yeah, resume share.
The red.
Resume share. Okay. Green color. Green. Touch it. Touch this.
Ma'am, are you on the Zoom meeting page?
Jai Gurudev.
Yeah. Yeah. I have just lost you.
Kalpana ma'am, Jai Gurudev.
Yeah.
No, return to meeting.
It's not going. Return to meeting. I'm not able to go.
Press the escape button, ma'am. Please press the escape button.
Yeah. No. Return to meeting.
Yeah, Jai Gurudev ma'am, can I help you?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So that means, can you see our screen? Or?
No, I cannot see your screen.
Okay.
I can only hear, but I'm unable to see. I think I will just log in again.
Yeah.
I'm just going to log in again. Yeah.
इधर देखो
No, आप क्या देखोगे?
कितना अच्छा चित्र बना रहा है वही देख लेती हूँ
Okay. Sorry, I lost you all. I'm not sure why it happened. Technical difficulties, as you've all experienced as teachers. It happens despite best of intentions. Anyway, we'll keep going. So as I said, we can make a story map, and I also said we can do a 5-finger retell. So what a 5-finger retell is, has anyone done a 5-finger retell before? You can say in the chat if you have. You get the children to draw their hand, right? So you can draw your hand on your whiteboard or on your sheet of paper, and you have your hand there. Okay. So now I have a hand, which you can see. Yeah. There you're going to write the questions for retell. Why, what, where, when, how. Okay. So children have to tell the retell by answering these 5 questions. Where is the story set? Right? They can tell, once upon a time in a jungle by the banks of the river, there lived a monkey. Right? What happened there? What are the main events? They can tell the events in the story. What was the big problem in the story? The monkey was going to lose his life. The crocodile had tricked him. He had to save his life. That's when he uses a strategy to come out. And there's a conclusion that comes. So when you're telling the children, retell the story, you give them this 5-finger retell pro forma, which they use to tell the story. They can tell each other what happened, where it happened, how it happened, why it happened. So that's another teaching tool to teach retell. Retell is the most important element for reading. Even your year 6 students or year 5 students might be very good at decoding. The minute you ask them to tell retell, they have not processed enough to retell. They need plenty of practice to retell the story, right? So this is a tool for that. What is a story map? Story map is nothing but you're mapping out the story. It's like a map that you do. So again, you take a fresh sheet of paper, and this time as a teacher, you can start modeling the story. Every story will have a start. Then here you have then it's going to have a complication or a major problem, which is the climax of the story. And then you have a resolution. Okay. So you can do a story map, which as you're telling the story, you can start plotting using a very simple map of what happened in your story. Starting what happened, the scene and settings there, gradual build up of events. You can dot point it, map it out, coming up to the climax, right? Monkey is about to lose his life. And then how he resolves, you can start mapping your story using a combination of pictures and words, like a map. That's called a story map, right? So this is all happening in week 1. Then week 2, now I'm scared to share, otherwise I will lose you again. Week 2, again you tell the story to them, right? This time they can make the picture of just the beginning of the story in the book. And then you together as a class, you can take your PowerPoint or whiteboard and start writing the story for them. So they are telling the story, you're writing the story for them. Second, they tell the story again in week 2. This time focusing on just on the middle of the story. Again, they are telling you the story, making the pictures, you are writing it out for them. Third day, week 2, again, you're telling them the story. They are making the pictures just relating to the end of the story, right? And you're mapping out with them. By the end of week 2, day 3, you have the full story written out by you, which you have done as a shared writing activity. Children are telling the story, you are writing. It is there sitting in your slides, or it might be in a big drawing pad like this, which you're writing for them. And they have provided you with pictures. What a rich resource for a class picture book. Then you as a teacher have to put your written parts of the story with their pictures and create your own class story book. How many of you have created your own class story book? It becomes such a rich resource. So many schools in SSRVM are there. If we start producing our own big books, every class can produce at least one big picture book. End of the year, you'll end up with 30 to 40 rich picture books which have been created with the children sharing their rich art and your writing, which you are scaffolding them as their teacher, and you're creating a big picture book, which I'm sure our publications will be more than happy to publish also. So you don't have to say, when I was talking to Jaishriji, she was telling me there are not enough picture books in the market. Here we are sitting on a golden opportunity to create our own picture books with the best of our traditional tales. Yeah. And every class can have a big picture book like this you create with the stories. And we can publish it. It becomes a huge resource for our library. Is that idea sounding good to you? Do you like the idea of creating your own picture books with your classes? Then that idea, that they will love reading the book. If they have created the picture book, then they are going to love reading it again and again. Another idea you can do with the story, I'm going to show it to you. This is more of, I will say year 5. This is called a triorama, right? All I've done is created a triorama where there are pictures of the story, right? You can see the crocodile is there, the monkey is there, and the child has written, the crocodile was an evil friend. He tried to trick the clever monkey by saying there were yummy fruits on the other side of the lake. But the smart monkey used his brain and saved himself. This can become again a display article for you. You are creating your own triorama. Very quickly, can we create our own triorama? It's super simple to create. It's not hard at all. Take a sheet of paper, fold it like you do for making a boat. And then you can make a square, all right, like that. Then flip it again, make another triangle. Opposite ends are meeting like that. Okay, and one part you're going to cut. I don't have the scissor with me, but if you have scissor at home, one part from the corner to the corner, you can just cut with a knife or scissor. So it will look like this. And then you're going to fold it to make a triorama. Picture here, and some words here. This can be beautiful class display. When you put them together, it becomes a 3D object. Again, you can create different dioramas, and if you flip it around, it can be a group activity. Somebody is doing start of the story, somebody is doing middle of the story, somebody is doing end of the story. This will be beautiful, and it will be a clue for them to retell, right? They look at the pictures, what they've written. Beautiful activity even for summarizing. As you know, writing story summaries is a key skill. So they're just writing something about the story, creating the images. It becomes a visual cue again for them to do their retells. It can be part of the class displays. Just some ideas to give you. With older children, now that they're at home and they have plenty of time, you can take a shoebox. Okay, I don't have shoebox. I'm just going to show you using an iPad box. If I can open it in a second. It's a very tight iPad box. My God. But you can get a shoebox or iPad box or any box that you have at home, and you need this part, right? In this part, you hold it up like this, They can create their own story characters using any medium they want. They may use beeswax, they might use clay, they might use cardboard. It becomes like a box, which is 3D dioramas from Greek word. It means, like it's a three-dimensional story box. This is a craft activity that you can create. All this will require one whole session if you want to do hands-on. Because of paucity of time, I'm just throwing the ideas at you. But if you want to do more detailed constructs where we are creating dioramas and trioramas and picture books together, we can always do that in subsequent sessions. I am setting up a page on Facebook to share all these ideas and resources. It will be called the Indian Primary English Teachers page, iPad, and you can join that to see how I create, how I do all that you can see. Today is just a brief view. So I've told you about dioramas and trioramas that you can use for doing your story. Then what you can do is, now we are on to week 2. So they have done the picture book, they have done the retells, they have created the dioramas and trioramas. We also want to build critical skills in our students, isn't it? Literacy is not just about reading, writing. That is old fashioned. We want critical literacy skills. Digital world, we are being bombed with information, and we need to have the critical skills to assess whether it is valid, even worth our eyeballs, or whether we should give it a complete miss. This is our duty of care to impart critical literacy skills to our students. How can we do that? This probably is going to be the last activity I share with you, because I know we are running out of time. And I am going to introduce you to a fantastic tool which you can use in any year level with any of the stories you're doing, whether you're lower primary, middle school, or upper school, for creating critical literacy skills. Are you ready? Yeah? Hands up if you're ready to pick up one more tool. As I said, this would all be, each tool would be a content of one individual workshop where we go in detail. Today, I'm just going to show you the possibilities of what you can do with one story. You're not just telling a story and entertaining them, but you're also building so many literature skills through variety of hands-on activities using the same story, running it for several weeks. This is, again, take a A4 sheet of paper and you can make it into 4 quadrants, right? 4 quadrants. Top quadrant, I'm going to write closed. Next quadrant, I'm going to write open. Next quadrant, I am going to write science, environment. Last quadrant, I'm going to write ethics. 4 quadrants, okay? Closed means this time the children will be asking questions. Their only job after you've told them the story is to come up with questions. You can give them a post-it note they can stick, or just a small piece of paper. You can do this in a chart paper. They can just stick their responses. Or if you're doing it online, you can do it through online devices like Padlet is there, Slideco is there. A lot of online devices are there for them to do this. Closed questions means yes and no answers. Okay. What will be the closed questions for this story? Closed means that it is a very limited option answer. Basic understanding, you're checking whether the child got the story or not. Can anybody give me an example of a closed question for the story?
Ma'am, like who are the main characters of the story?
Exactly. Who are the main characters of the story? Example of a closed question. Who are the, and you scribe it, or the, if you're a lower primary teacher, you have to scribe. If you're a middle school or middle primary teacher, they can scribe. Who are the main characters? Monkey, crocodile, Mrs. Crocodile. Who are the main characters? Like that, first model what closed questions are like. Okay. Where was the story set? In a forest by the banks of the river, right? What was the what did the monkey love eating? Depending on what you've sold to them, monkey loved eating jamuns, a monkey loved eating bananas, a monkey loved eating apples. Close questions. Are you all with me so far? Are you with me? Yes? Close question. Open question means it is open to different type of answers, right? Open question is, why did Mrs. Monkey want to eat the, why did Mrs. Crocodile want to eat the monkey? What is the answer? Someone will say she was hungry. Someone will say because crocodiles eat animals. Someone will say because she was a very mean person. All these answers are valid, right? Guruji Sri Ravi Shankar ji says truth is multidimensional, isn't it? Open is taking into account a range of answers which is there as a part of your teaching education model, isn't it? You're taking into account different perspectives anyway. All sorts of open questions. Okay. Now your job is to put a closed question and open question, and I'll get you to share in a minute for me. In the upper quadrants you can do. Write any open question. What else could the monkey have done? Problem solving skills you're trying to teach them. Yeah. What else could Mr. Crocodile have done? You're exploring possibilities in the story. Yeah. How else could Mr. Crocodile have made his wife happy? So many possibilities are there. Can somebody share their open question for me? Any one person? I just want to know. One person can share. Unmute yourself, doesn't matter. Any one person can share. Yeah. Or maybe admin can admit any one person who's got their hands up. Example of open-ended question for me.
How would you have saved yourself if you were in that situation?
Fantastic. If you were the monkey, how would you have saved yourself in that situation? Fantastic question. Who shared that? Can you please share your name? I couldn't see you properly.
I am Tinku Pal from SSA Kolkata.
Wonderful question. So, in this questioning exercise, it's purely a questioning exercise. Children are only being taught to ask questions. You're not asking them for answers. Do you get that? Question quadrant is only about creating questions. In our tradition, even Guruji is not giving Gyan until we are asking him questions. If you ask the right question at the right time to the right person, you'll get the right answer. So who is going to teach the children how to ask the right question at the right time to the right person to get the right answer? Right? Unless they've done intuition course, they know everything from before. That is a different story. We have such a wealth. Guruji has treated us to so many wonderful things. Maybe children bypass all that. But do you see that? They have to interrogate. The interrogation is a very important skill. And every knowledge that Guruji has given us, it's a dialogue between two people. Ashtavakra is dialogue, where Janaka is asking Ashtavakra the question, highest knowledge is being released, isn't it? Recently, Guruji was doing the Shiva ones, no? What is it called? Where Shiva Parvati dialogue took place, isn't it? Where Parvati is asking Shiva questions and he is giving all the meditation techniques. So highest knowledge is coming through asking of the questions. This is our tradition. So we have to inculcate this question skills. Monkey and crocodile become a rich resource. Now can you see? If you tell the story to your year 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 students, your answers are going to be different because they're all come up with different questions. Science and environment. Now it's all about science and environment. What science and environment questions can you come up with? Right? Science and environment questions could be about, rainforests are being removed to, cultivate land for feeding animals, or rainforests are being removed to create houses in certain parts of the world. Monkeys don't have a place to live. All the palm oil, for palm oil plantation in Malaysia, Borneo, rainforests are being depleted and monkeys and orangutans have no place to live. So question could be, how can we protect our monkeys, or how can we protect our crocodiles? How can we keep our rivers safe? Is there enough food for monkeys? Younger children, you can say, is there enough food for monkeys? We can say no. Apple trees are no more. Forests are being depleted. Poor monkeys don't have food to eat. So this is about linking questions to science and environment. Again, you wouldn't do this on all the same day. You will do it on different days. Ethical questions, right? Should people be eating monkeys? Beautiful. If you get a character to replace the characters, which characters will you choose? Yeah, that can be an open question that you can ask. Ethical question. Should we be eating monkeys? Should we should friends lie to one another? Should friends eat one another? And all the children will say no. Then you can tell then, why are you eating, goat? Is goat not your friend? Why are you eating poor chicken? Is chicken not your friend? Yeah. So like that, you can ask, do we eat our friends? Do we really eat friends who we care for? So all that is ethics, right? Can you give me example of one science question and one ethical question you can develop? And this can tune into your integrative inquiry units for even up to higher grades. Secondary teachers can also use this as a tool. It's equally powerful. Before I wind up, I want one question on science and environment based on monkey crocodile story and one question based on ethics.
So, ma'am, for science or environment question, like in this story, we said that a monkey was sharing apples with a crocodile. So, like if you will see these particular animals, they live in which type of forest? And in those types of forest, apple trees are found. Just find it out because apples require which type
Beautiful.
of climate. Maybe for higher standards, this question we can ask 6, 7 standards.
Beautiful. You can do a beautiful question on what type of forest monkey live in, what is a natural habitat, what is the word for that in science? We use biomes. Biomes is the environment in which animals live. You can do a whole unit on adaptation, survival, rainforests and all. This is just a trigger. Can you use that? It's not just for your junior classes because people think, oh, storytelling only for early years, only for prep, only for pre-primary. I'm a senior school teacher. I don't need to story. Wrong. Any year you can use stories. Ethical question. Can you give me an example of ethical question? Ethics. Because these days ethics are under question, right? Everything has got ethical dimension. Guruji presence in the World Forum for Ethics, in European Parliament, all that. This ethics is very important. What ethical question about right and wrong, about, what is the aligning ourselves to truth again, what is the right course of action we can do, the higher level choices. Anybody has any ethical questions for me?
Ma'am, for ethical question, like, ma'am, in this story, the ending is where crocodile is bad and monkey is good, or monkey did that. Okay, maybe we can twist the end also, wherein though they are different species, they have different attitude, but maybe they can be friends. Something good we can bring it because in real life, also in class, we see, we have this casteism and races and religion, which creates
Exactly.
divide. So maybe we can twist the story and bring somewhere this goodness in human.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Because crocodiles are carnivorous animals. They are going to eat monkey or fish or deer. They are designed to eat animals, right? They have teeth for processing carnivores. They have a digestive system for carnivores. So Mrs. Crocodile asking for another animal, it's not ethically wrong from a carnivorous animal's perspective. So you can have all these dialogues, discussions, but remember, we are only asking them to build questions. We are not going into answers. We just want our children to have the ability to ask the right question at the right time to the right person. This has to come with practice. All the time, we are giving them questions and they are giving us answers, isn't it? We are setting the question they have to do. This assignment, their job is only to ask questions. Now, when I started doing this with middle school students, they found it so difficult because all along they're used to only answering questions. Now, suddenly I'm telling them, come up with this question, come up with that question. So initially, you may not even introduce the bottom quadrants. You might only do open and close. That is it. For literature, language, English, Hindi, whatever language you're doing, right? Then slowly you can use the story and then come on to science and environment. What are all the questions that can come up, right? Then you can talk about ethics. First, you have to tell them what ethics is, then come up with some ethical questions. Then we are building learners for the 21st century. Learners for the 21st century are inquirers. They are good at asking questions. They are good at self-learning. Self-learning means you come up with the question, you come up with the answer, and you take it forward, right? I'm looking at the time. I've gone way beyond 10 minutes. I had lots more to share with you, but I think that's all I have time for. So I am going to basically share one. I'm just going to take a few questions. Maybe the moderators can take 1 or 2 questions and we'll close there. Yeah?
Sure, ma'am. Thank you, Kalpana ji, for such an enriching session. We are so awestruck. So we'll take few questions here, ma'am.
Maybe just 1 or 2 questions.
Sure,
After that, I want to introduce them to Padlet. It's a great tool. I'm going to do it with you, and you can also do it with your class. It's a digital tool that you can use. So I want to leave you with that. So I will take 1 or 2 questions, and then I'll have some feedback that you have for me, which you're going to drop into Padlet. Okay, that is the plan. Okay, over to you, Shruti.
Yes, ma'am. This is one question here. How do we ensure that the essence of the story is not diluted by the aesthetics of art?
Yeah, that is very important. Essence of that's why we said heart to heart connection. If you're telling in the right space, the other person is also going to get the right space. The art which you're going to do is not one size fits all. It's based on your cohort and what their interests are. Suppose your class is more jumping, moving, you're going to do more kinesthetic things. Suppose they are more visual, then you're going to give them pointers on which how they can create their big picture book or create their own dioramas, all that. You're going to be modeling a lot for them. So how do we ensure it's not diluted? Again, there's a model for teaching, which you might be aware of. It is I do, we do, you do. First, you do and show them. That is creating a certain standard. Then we do together, that is co-construction of text, co-construction of images. Then they do. So you're not just telling them go and do, and then they start making monkeys hitting each other because they are doing all these video games all the time, and they're not making zombie monkeys and monster monkeys, and all this violence is not creeping in, and so you model it for them. So by your modeling and telling the story in the richest storytelling tradition of heart to heart, that's why I made it very sacred. You notice I rang the bell, I lit the lamp, created a beautiful ritual around storytelling. And after the storytelling finishes, again, this is how I'll finish. I ring the bell, that means I've finished telling the story. And then we don't blow the candle, but I have a device where I can take the light off. It's called, it's just like a spoon. I don't have it with me now, but I just put the spoon and then the lamp goes. So now they know sacred session is. So you create your own ritual. For me, I have traditional ones of lamp and light. You could be doing your own thing. Like that, once you create some sacredness around it, it's not just something you're telling, sacred story you're telling. Again, we'll have to have more detailed sessions for this. Then dilution will not take place. It will go in the way you want it to go. Remember, as a teacher, you can control a lot. A lot is in your hand.
Yes, ma'am, truly. Thank you so much, ma'am. You have resolved all of our questions by your different processes, activities, hands-on experiences. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to have one thing from you. You are going to do a Padlet response for me. So I'm going to share the screen and I'm going to show you a Padlet. So I'm going to share where I get some response and reaction from you, right? So I'm sharing the screen, and if you take your camera on your phone to this QR code, you should be able to come straight to Padlet, right? I'm going to minimize this. If you take this QR code, you should be able to come straight to Padlet. There you can tell me one thing that you picked up or one thing that you're already doing, which I told you before. That will give me a feedback. It will come straight onto Padlet right now. Can we all take a few minutes to just take a picture of this QR code? Is it well visible to you? Can you see the QR code clearly?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Yeah. Is it getting you to Padlet? If you click, it will take you straight to Padlet and you can put your response. I cannot see any responses as yet. So again, I'm just going to share with you on the chat. Maybe from there we can take. First, I'll stop sharing the screen. Okay. I'm going to put it in the chat. You can approach the Padlet through chat also. And you can see all your responses will be there and we can save it also. There, you can click on this link and if you put your response, it will be there. So I just want to know something that I've been telling you, you're already doing in your class, you can share that. Something new you picked up, which you're very keen to try out with your class, that thing also you can put in Padlet for me. Okay. So while everybody is doing that, I take this opportunity to thank SSRVM, the teachers, the organizers, Ramaka for giving me an opportunity to hang out with all of you. It has been an absolute delight. I will share the link of my Facebook page also. So some of you want to keep the learning going on. You're most welcome to join me. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, ma'am. With this, I take the opportunity to extend a vote of thanks. Our Puja Gurudev says, when gratitude in you stays, that very gratitude flows out of you as grace. I feel extremely privileged to propose a vote of thanks. I thank our dearest Kalpana Jaishankar ji who took time out of a busy schedule to conduct this session for us. Today we had an opportunity to hear your thoughts and this will surely keep encouraging us. We are truly enriched. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to SSRVM Trust. I thank our academic head, Srimati Rama Venkatesh. I thank Jayashree Mulli ji and Samir Kapadia ji for their gracious presence. I am immensely thankful to all the principals, librarians, and teachers for being part of this fiesta. We have been fortunate to be backed by an extremely efficient tech team. I thank the dedicated team members for their efforts. Thank you all for your kind presence. Have a wonderful weekend. Jai Gurudev.